From day one, when Ahmad al-Sharaa took Damascus, he talked about peace and reconciliation, reunifying the country. He talked about disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. He used all of the phrases that you would read in a textbook about a political transition.
وهذه دعوة لجميع السوريين للمشاركة في بناء وطن جديد.
The world's press soon arrived to meet and talk with the new leader.
إن شاء الله نحن كسوريين نستطيع أن نعيش مع بعضنا دون إشكاليات.
As did a parade of foreign diplomats.
The world rushed to Damascus. Foreign ministers, emirs, prime ministers, presidents are seeking to shake Ahmad al-Sharaa's hand, amazed by this historic opportunity, first time in more than 50 years, to reshape the heart of the Middle East for the better.
As we all turn to the question of what comes next in Syria.
In Washington, the Biden administration was weighing what it should do.
We've taken note of statements by the leaders of these rebel groups in recent days, and they're saying the right things now.
We were struck by the interviews that Jolani gave in the early days after assuming power, in which, yes, he quote-unquote said the right things, but said them with a degree of sophistication and conviction and detail.
ثم سيشكل برلمان مؤقت. ثم البرلمان المؤقت سيشكل لجنة دستورية.
He gave us some reason to believe that this might be a different sort of leader. So we decided that at a certain point we would need to engage.
Less than 2 weeks after al-Sharaa's victory, a U.S. State Department delegation headed by Barbara Leaf set out from neighboring Jordan to meet with him.
We took off down the highway at speed, and we drove through a very dilapidated countryside, I will say. Really looked beaten down. As we got into Damascus, it was difficult to measure what security would be like. Were there militias roaming at will? Was there any security? Had all the remnants of the regime fled for good?
They arrived at the presidential palace 12 days after Assad had fled to Moscow.
So we were walked into this big cavernous palace and taken upstairs, and all of a sudden there they were.
Talk about how he struck you.
Having worked for many four-star generals in the American military, I felt like I was talking to a very senior general, not that different than an American commander, who had a very deep understanding of warfare, economics, policy, what he wanted to achieve, how he might want to achieve it. I walked away impressed.
He just had this air of calm, quiet authority and a whiff of charisma, frankly. I mean, I had to almost close my eyes and remind myself I was talking to a Syrian official with the very easy way he talked about Israel. No diatribes, no recitation of 40 years of history, you know, the way Hafiz al-Assad would. Let me tell you about 1948, sort of start of the conversation. And of course, at that time, the Israelis had moved in up on the Golan Heights on
and they were bombing.
And they were bombing.
Israel, long in a state of war with Syria, immediately started bombing and dismantling Syria's remaining military capabilities.
Israel's been bombarding every part of Syria's military. Fighter jets, naval assets, surface-to-surface missiles, they have taken out everything.
The Israelis say they told the Biden administration what they were planning to do. Al-Sharaa asked Barbara Leaf to get Israel to stop.
He was very matter-of-fact in his requests. He said, could you get the Israelis to stop bombing? They're scaring my people. And he was at pains to say repeatedly, we have no argument with Israel.
I don't doubt that al-Sharaa has no interest in going to war with Israel.
Michael Herzog was Israeli ambassador to the U.S. at the time. He told me that Israel was particularly worried about Assad's weapons and chemical stockpiles falling into the wrong hands.
We all know the background of al-Sharaa and the people around him. They all come from the schools of al-Qaeda and ISIS. They all have jihadi background, and that was and remains a source of concern in Israel.
How does continuing to strike militarily with bombs encourage al-Sharaa's moderation. It would seem to me the opposite's true, that encourages the jihadists.
Well, Israel is not going to strike military capabilities forever. There's the more we do it, the less there is left to destroy. And again, we're talking about specific military capabilities that we do not want to be there because they could be used against us, either by this new regime or by others.
Initially, Israel did say the bombing campaign would be brief.
I emphasize it is a very limited and temporary step.
But Israel has continued striking targets for months, killing an estimated 24 civilians in the process. Israel has also seized land in southern Syria, expanding what it calls its security zone. At an Arab summit in March, al-Sharaa asked for help.
على الوفاء بالتزاماته القانونية والأخلاقية في دعم الحقوق السورية في الضغط على إسرائيل للانسحاب الفوري من الجنوب السوري.
I think behind Israel is an agenda, is an intention to weaken Syria, to break it up, and to expand Israeli boundaries without any accountability by the international community. And that is really the recipe for future violence, not for peace.
They don't see it that way.
The French and the British, when they carved up the Middle East, didn't see it that way either.